Hey, what's up everybody? It's KyFy. I'm glad you could be here. If you are new, welcome. This is a KyFy theory and this is the Zin-Finity Board. So this is a one-of-a-kind thing. I created it and I'm using my channel to basically expose the concept. The concept is basically tarot, but where it was meant to be. I feel like there was a missing piece and I created it after a big download. So if you look at my videos before, you can understand where the concept came from. But moving forward, I have a good reading. If you like this content, like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Basically share it with your favorite reader because I'm creating an app and it's gonna be a good one. Basically everything that you hear me do right now and everything that you see that's about to happen, imagine your favorite reader doing the same thing, but just in an app version. So that's where the concept comes from. So without further ado, let's get started with the messages. So I have a good amount of messages. I'm not even sure what this reading is going to be titled, but so the first message is auric exchange. And it's crazy because you understand when we were in the shutdowns, they told us to stand 6 feet away from each other. One of the reasons that we found out recently is because our auric field, our bioelectric field basically interacts with one another when we are that close. And around this time there was a lot of energies that they didn't want people to basically be around each other when it was occurring. So we had to be away from each other, and a slew of deception on top of that. We're not even gonna go into that. See, I can barely talk. But that's the first message. But auric exchange, when it comes up to people, when it's a negative person, it's different. Because let's just say you are vibrating high. You finally got your energy up there. It took you and your spirit a whole bunch of time to get up to a level where you can maintain yourself. But then you go right back to the same, dog goes to its vomit. Same people that took your energy before, and your energy lowers, and then you have less to use for yourself. So being around people, regardless if they're saying anything or not, is taking the energy. Regardless if they have good intentions or bad intentions. Even if they have good intentions, just you being there, it's just math. It's just what's happening. Regardless, you can stop this, you can, usually the person would say something like anything to get you to do something for them, show some kind of love, some kind of support, right? But that's coming from you, and it's generating from you, and it's taken from your field at the same time. So if that's important to you, understand who you are around, and kind of have judgment on that. And speaking of judgment creates your reality. Anything that you decide that it is your reality. So your mind is very important when it comes up to that, because your mind is the thing that's defining everything. It's trying to formulate everything. No, this is what this is. No, this is what this is. In any argument, the argument is, this is what this is. No, I believe this is what this is. Regardless of what the argument is, that's where it comes from. What it is, your judgment versus their judgment. What it is that you believe and what it is that they believe. That's what the argument is about, no matter what it is, right? But it does matter what it is. Because there's a middle ground, and that comes with cooperation and partnership and teamwork and union, that kind of thing. But if you're not thinking on that wave, if one person's thinking on that wave and the other person isn't, then there's an energetic pull, well, not a pull, like a siphon that's going to one side. And usually when that side gets tired, it gives up, goes away, and the side that needed that energy eventually gets depleted, right? And then it will look for that energy again, because we are all people and we get lazy. So if the money is being thrown at you and you're not working for it, you would be in like this mode of entitlement. And that's not good, because we are supposed to understand that we're working with spirit and universe at the same time to manifest. So if you think it's just for you, it's eventually gonna run out. Yeah. The next message was, the people you hate learning from are the best teachers. So literally in every class, I can remember the teachers that I disliked more than the teachers that I liked currently right now. It's crazy. You can really remember it, and you can remember every lesson that every time that they open their goddamn mouth, just right. You remember every time, but you remember the lesson too, because it's just what it is. It's a high energetic experience. It was very tough. It's almost like going through pressure and change, that kind of thing. But the pressure happens in the solar plexus. We're gonna get to it, right? There's more messages. How you're being treated is how you're treating your spirit. So what does that mean? At every one of these points, there's a way you can defend yourself, because these are the places that are your chakras, the 9 chakras, right? And you can basically maintain the energy that comes out of each one of these, right? So your spirit is attached to these things too. So when you treat yourself according to your chakra, right? When you treat your root chakra, solar plexus, when you treat all of it, right? You're giving your spirit the defense to stop what's going to attack it later from any source. So the best source that is available to the devil are people that you frequently visit. So if people have been taken away from you, if you've been experiencing people leaving you, right? It's a good thing for 2 reasons. Because there's not many people who can attack you and can influence you to do worse, right? And then on top of that, you get to see what the attacks are, because the devil has to be obvious now. You're only hanging around a certain amount of people, so you're noticing things from even your close ones. Like, why would that happen now? I'm going through this. Why am I alerted to this right now? Because the devil has no choice but to operate with the last of the bunch. It's only a few choices he has, right? But that's just people. So when you eliminate the vices too, the devil has less to work with to manipulate you. And that's why things are being taken away from you. You think, but it's being taken away from you because God is protecting you. The devil cannot attack you if he has nothing to attack you with. If he ain't got nothing, there ain't no bullets. There ain't no bullets in that big ass gun that's right in your face. Ain't no bullets. What you got? You just sitting there empty threats. It also involves faith. And your faith is tested during this process, because it's almost like you have to have blind faith. Because as I said before, God is nothing, nowhere, and nobody. And that's what the definition of faith is. Faith is the belief of nothing, nowhere, and nobody. That's what faith is. Because you don't see it coming. It just comes out of nowhere, the miracle. Where does it come from? Nobody you thought who was going to give it to you. Nowhere that you thought it was going to happen. It's unknown to you. And God works in that background, that mysterious space. So yeah. You know how, this is the next message. You know how people, you feel like they are contracted to meet you? Like after you go through something with them, it's like, why did I have to go through this with this person? Because regardless if it was a light lesson or a dark lesson, you needed to get the lesson. So there were decisions made on both parties that ended up in a dark lesson or a light lesson. There are some people you meet that you leave on good standings. Like, that's wind up being your friend in the future. You never know, right? Because you just kind of separate. There's no bad blood. But the people you separate on bad blood with, see, I can barely talk. The people you separate on bad blood with is a dark learning experience. And those bridges seem to be burned. But, you know, God can build any bridge back up. So it's depending on what the situation is, if you want it or not. Because if you truly don't want it, if your spirit don't want it, it's not going to be there. If it's your soul knows that it's going to stop you from doing your soul's best purpose, it's not going to be there. So whatever happened, accept the lesson. Because the person, even though the person could have been good in the beginning, you knew that you were going to learn from that. That's at the end of the day, you knew you were going to learn. So what did you learn? You know how life or live, the opposite of living is evil, right? Live, evil, right? Have you ever thought about the opposite of love? I got evil, right? Or evil, right? It sounded like evil, but when you look at it, the opposite of live is evil. The opposite of love is evil. Whatever that means, right? Take it how it resonates. I don't know why this is a message. I don't exactly know what you're supposed to learn from this, but it kind of blew my mind because I'm going to explain. I hope you can see this. So, you understand what love is, and we are reflections of God. God is love, and we have the ability to evolve with love, right? In order to live, we have to come down into this realm of evil. So understand that this is the point where you and God split, right? This line, this center line right here. But the balance line, there's balance to everything, but there are also scales, this side or that side, the light or the dark, right? On this side is the dark side, where the living is, right? Now understand that if you're thinking that, oh, I just want to live, what happens if you say, oh, I just want to love? Love is power, and power brings movement. Balance brings love. So when you balance out the situation, you start to evolve with what's happening and what's given to you, and then you move forward with that into new direction. So the evil that you experience doesn't have that same hold. It becomes armor and weapons. That's what it's meant for. You go into the dungeon to get jewels and ores to create things in the spiritual world so you can battle these spiritual demons, the ones that you can't see, or the ones that you see when you sleep. You never know. So that was really it with the messages. So I'm going to go into what the Zin-Finity Board is. The Zin-Finity Board is an elementally energetic grid that flows in a 21-part circuit, housing all aspects of the mind in a still life fashion. So anything that you can possibly think of is here. So it's up to us to make it clear. So what does this all mean? But before I do that, I'm going to get these cards out right about now. So basically, this board has 10 perspectives. Every black card that you see right here is a perspective in your mind. These are oracle cards. There are five oracle cards that represents domains, as well as who, what, when, where, and why in your mind, right? So this is the concept of all is mind put on a board, and I named it the Zin-Finity Board. So this is the reason why it's so important. If you can harness the principle of the first universal principle, if you can harness it within yourself, imagine what it can do for you specifically. So this is why I'm here. We got some things to talk about. So what are the perspectives? I know, I be, or I become, right? I want, I need, I will, I desire, I love, I do, I feel, and I am. You cannot overlap or skip anything in your mind without running into these perspectives. So this is why everything that you can think of generates from these locations. And these locations are also chakras in your mind, right? And I'll talk about it in a second. Next up are the domains in your mind, right? But it has to do with the energies, right? This is the world of emanation, of fire, and is represented by gratitude, right? The world of creation or water, spiritual cleansing, that's of spirit. So spiritual cleansing came up. It flew out and kind of spent. So yeah. So spiritual cleansing came out. Shift came out in the mind, the world of formation, right? The mental energy, the ego, or the consciousness, whichever you like to hear it. And in the world of manifestation, you have protection. So this is the earth energy, the earth domain. So the last one is in the area of why. So let me go over it again. Gratitude is who, protection is what, shift is when, spiritual cleansing is where, and why has to do with courage. That's the reason why you're here today, or this is the message that is the most powerful for you to understand right now. It gets down to everything, so we're going to get down to it right now. Starting off with the Three of Pentacles, which is offsuit. Now I'm going to explain that. Fire, air, water, earth. That means that this side can have fire or earth. This side can have air or water. But when it comes up to up here, it must be fire or air. And it's not either of those, making it offsuit. So I run that same scenario throughout the whole thing. We're going to get to it later. But I'm going to explain why. This is your area of I know. What you know about the situation, what you know in your mind, is blocked by something that you believe that you need in order to be perfect. In order to perfect it before you continue. It must be perfect before. There's a conscious or egoic want before you allow spirit to do its job. You see, that's a mental block. So that's what that is. The Three of Cups, Three of Pentacles. This is teamwork, collaboration, and building something. And the thing is, this is what you know. Not what people think and you are taking as your own knowledge. This is your basis of information and your basis of your experience. Where your experience comes from. Where your imagination emanates from. This is your soul power. And nobody's supposed to be in charge of that. So if you have a perfection in unity that you think that needs to be in the front of it, that's not the aspiration you're supposed to be going for. That's not what you're supposed to be aspiring to. So the Three of Pentacles is I know. Next up, that was Da'at, right? Da'at on the Tree of Life. And this is the place where Scorpio is. I'm gonna go through the signs where it is. So if you're interested, you can pay attention to that. But this is the area of Scorpio, and it's an earth energy, so it's off already. Right? Next up is I be, or I become. Your being at the beginning or the end of any day, and what you're going to become. So it's growth and a sturdiness. Who you are and who you're going to become is like the pinnacles of what you stand on. So that's also your persona. So it's 10 of Pentacles. Naturally, this is money, but what about it, right? And this place can't be offsuit. This is your crown chakra, what crowns the reading. But what it means is, if this energy of the root chakra was off, right, which it isn't right now, your being or what you're going to become would fix this fear. Because this is the root chakra, the fear chakra, right? It will fix the fear because of what you're going to become. But since this is who you are, you have no fear because you know you can create. And that's the gift that the devil can't take from you. Regardless if you don't have, you can create to have. And if you are alone, you really don't even need it because you understand that your spiritual team is there. You're starting to understand them because there's nobody else around you to observe. It's less for you to understand, so you have more focus going on within by default. And it's stressful because looking at yourself, looking at where you came, how you got there, it's terrible at certain times. And people like to point this out so you don't look at them. It becomes a shield of trauma. Your trauma or their trauma. I don't want to face it, don't want to be accountable, or you don't want to face it, you don't want to be accountable. But it's how you approach things, because anybody can be accountable if approached the right way. And if that doesn't work, then there's an ignorance at play that you can't get past. You can't match their ignorant energy and then win. They rule that. They rule ignorance. So you can't match an ignorant person. You are on level 1, ignorant person. They are on level 80. You get out of here. Don't be ignorant. Learn, understand, use your experience. So 10 of Pentacles. This is legacy, inheritance, and culmination. This is perfect to have here within your soul because you understand that your manifestations are long lasting. And regardless of what people come to you for, thinking that they can just be on your team and stick to you, that kind of thing, your manifestations are of you. So if you spiritually deny it, it doesn't matter what they try to do. It will be denied from them. It just won't happen, right? It'll be some really crazy coincidence that, oh, you can't come no more? Okay. Oh, this can't happen no more? Okay. Oh, you gotta give me the money back? Okay. Oh, you don't need that much? Okay. It's just certain things that happen, and you always see it because God wants you to see his protection too. Sometimes you don't see it when it happens, but you recognize the chain of events that occurred in order for it to happen. So, like I said, God works in the background. Nothing, nowhere, and nobody is working for you in the background. That's why you're gonna watch. So next up is I will. And this is on suit, right? With the Ace of Wands. Let's get it. This is creation, willpower, inspiration, and desire. Now this is perfect to have here because this is your crosshairs. When you play a game with any kind of gun, right, or any kind of aiming, that aiming function, where the T is basically your direction in life. And it's important for it to have accuracy. You have accuracy. You are accurate. You are right in your ambition. So understand that. You are completely right in what you think that you need to do to get your dream. And it's not just a fantasy. It's a part of your dream. So you can acknowledge that. It's not just my fantasy, it's my dream. And that's powerful because when your fantasies, let me explain that real quick. I believe that dreams are 10-part fantasies. And fantasies keep changing during your life to match the dream eventually. One day you'll find that fantasy that matches the dream and it'll lock in and it'll never go nowhere. I live in this fantasy where the fear is gone and I maintain it. I know this is for me. I live in a fantasy where my emotions are good. I live in a fantasy where I'm doing things that I know and I can be honored for. I live in a fantasy where there's no grief. Or you maintain these things. It goes hand in hand. But that's the Ace of Wands, what you want. What you need, okay, that was the crown chakra. This is the third eye, what I'm explaining right now. So that was the light side of it. This is the dark side of it. The dark side is off suit. Let me move this. The dark side is off suit with the Six of Pentacles right here. So let's get it. This is charity, generosity, and sharing. Now, this is the place where water or air should be. Not things that block, things that flow. Your manifestations are blocking your spiritual power. That's what that is. And what you have 10 pentacles here within your essential being. So that means 4 out of 10, 40% of what you think is right, 60% of what you think is right is not. But you're not totally off. So you're kind of aligned to it. Just revisit some things of what you think is supposed to be there in order for it to flow easily. But as I said before, because this is your aspiration in teamwork, of course you're going to be sharing your spiritual abundance. Sometimes you need to claim that first to find out what it's for before you can share it. You need to manifest it and grow. Okay, if God gives you a seed, you don't give the seed away, you give the fruit away because now you have the tree for yourself. You see? So you're giving your seeds away instead of giving the fruit away. The fruit is manifested. You didn't finish with it. It's going to be more fruit. It's okay if you take a fruit. It's okay. But a seed, you can't have a tree. You see? But with your fruit, you can eat and you can have your own seed. Plant it in your own field. There's a lot more divinity and power that you hold when you keep it to yourself. Or when you give the access. So next up is I will, and this is 9 of Pentacles. There's a lot of earth, but it's still good energy. This is energy where you know you need to be rooted, but it's still rooted in the same good positioning. So far, there's only one thing off, or 2 things off with the earth so far. So 9 of Pentacles, fruits of labor, reckless spending, and rewards. Now, this is in that, see, you found where you need to go. Since you're certain, you're willing to invest more. And that's great. because it's gonna come back to you, because you're still who you are, and what you're giving away to the cause, you'll still have more left. You'll still have something left. It doesn't matter. But it's just also saying that you're almost giving everything that you are to the situation. So even though you're doing good, there is a balance to it, and sometimes you need to relax. You need to find out how to, instead of stress and hustle freely, hustle easily, relax the hustle. I don't know, but just like, you got it, so just do it smarter, not harder. The next one is I desire, which is the magician, and this is on suit still. So you can understand how creative this is, but this also manipulative when it comes to your desires. My desire can be this. Oh, I like this now. I like this now. I like this now. Now I like this. You see, even though you know the right route, you're stopping at every pit stop. Right? So let's see. Willpower, creation, mastery, and adaptation. But that means that it doesn't phase you, but you're willing to learn and not skip the steps, because you know about the lessons now. You know about the lessons, and the lessons are not going to be getting past you anymore. You know the tricks. That's what it is. You know the tricks already around what you desire. You know the devil is going to put that carrot in front of your face once he find out what you desire. So you say, okay, I know where the carrot is going to be, and I'm going to avoid that carrot. I'm going to plant my own. God gave me a seed, and I'm not going to give it away for a carrot. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to plant my own farm and have my abundant harvest. It's self-mastery, like it's saying, but it's a self-confidence too. I can do it because I desire it. And since I desire it, I will make it happen. It's like that energy of it's gonna be regardless. At the end of the day, that kind of energy is there. It's sturdy. You have what you need. You have what you need manifested. This is at the 10 right now. It's only 4 more steps before you reach the new beginning. And I'll talk about those 4 steps at the end. But this yeah, okay. Next up is judgment. And this is the water energy in the place of air. So this is off. I remember talking about judgment. Judgment creates your reality. And the crazy thing, I said that, and of course it's going to create your reality. This is the space where your reality is. That's where it's located. It's located in your heart space. The mind is mental and it's air, right? But the heart is the thing that powers the mind. So you understand, when you take a deep breath, the energy goes into your heart, and then you relax. Your heartbeat slows down. You take deeper breaths, it calms you down. So it works like that. But this right here, this is an emotional, something that, okay, like I said, the judgment creates a reality. So when somebody else is judging you, and you accept that for what the judgment is, you thought it was a certain thing. Like I said, you thought it was a certain thing. Your knowledge is off. Of course, everybody else's judgment is going to affect you. So we're going to figure out how to fix that. But this is what happens when you don't believe in what you know. People can judge you, and they will get over on you. It will cause your life, your beauty to diminish. The beautiful things in your life to diminish because you don't have that knowledge. But to know it, it's already unmasked. And that's what the devil don't want. So this is about unmasking where it's off. That's the crazy thing. In any movie, when the villain is masked, when they got that mask on, they have that presence of, I don't know what this guy is going to do or this girl is going to do, right? But once they take the mask off, the veil is like lifted. Oh, it's this. And that's when you know. That's when you use that power. And that's when they can't judge you. Because you move accordingly. Right. So this is reflection, reckoning, and awakening. So an emotional process is eventually, you're going to have to put your soul into it to change what happens. you're going to have to put passion into it to change the effect of what's happening already. You're going to have to use that energy of temperance. So the moon, or next up is I do, and this is the moon right here. And the moon is a water energy, and this is also offsuit. So within your home is within your spirit, right? No. Home is within your soul space, right? Your ether space. Like the space that you occupy in totality. That's your home. Like if you close your eyes, how much peace do you have? That's like your home, where that is, right? So your home, when it comes up to what's not shown to you or what you can't see, it's veiled. You cannot see what's happening, but the moon is here because God wants to show you what's been happening and what you've been training for. Any game that you play, I don't know, like just put Temple Run or Subway Surfer. Any game that you play, you get better at it, right? Even though you don't win, there's no winning to that game. That's a cycle that you were in. There's no winning to that game, but you got better at something, a lot better at something. Every obstacle that they put in your way, you jumped, dodged, this, that. You became Neo. And you should look at my other reading about Neo in the Matrix. We are Agent Smith. We are the ops. You and me. I'm an op to myself, and I have to recognize that. You are an op to yourself, and you have to recognize that. And once you do, the ops that are around you will be notified within your spirit that they cannot mess with you the same way. It's unveiled within you, therefore it's unveiled outside of you. You will know it because you acknowledge it. I see it, therefore I can see it outside of me. I see it in me, therefore I can see it outside of me. So the moon, unconscious illusions, intuition, and fantasy. Now, as I said before, that fantasy is off with what you're doing right now. Of course, you don't. This knowledge right here is the leading cause of everything, and where my readings start. Da'at is 0, and it starts at 0, goes around the whole board, and ends at 0, right? The beginning and the end. So next up is I feel, which is the Page of Wands. This is also offsuit. We're gonna fix this, and what I mean by that, I'm gonna get those white cards and place them like three at the max, like goldfish, just to try to see if I can get the right energy in the place. When I do that, it shows how much energy, time, and effort is required in order to fix the situation, and what kind of situation is required in order to have union, at the very least, within yourself. So, the Page of Wands. This is exploration, excitement, and freedom. Remember how I said with the magician, with what you desire, it's a double-edged sword kind of thing? Because if you can decide that I like this, then I like this, then I like this, you're giving your spirit mixed emotions. It's almost like you're not using the right energies for the right causes because you don't have a focus. You need to tame one type of energy and get that to a level 100 first before you move to a different type of energy. You know what I mean? Like, you have to start with the basics. You just not gonna start with Fire Blast. You're gonna start with Ember. You're not gonna know Fire Blast. Don't even try it. You feel me? So, not learn your place, that's crazy. But understand where you can and cannot operate freely. Then it ended up with the Four of Pentacles and I am. This is the place of fear. So it's fear, shame, guilt, grief. Right? So the Four of Pentacles. Conservation, security, and frugality. So even though you're spiritually giving it away and you know that, at the end of the day, you know you got your back. So you never give out too much. So you know when to call it quits. And that's a great thing, because God can depend on that. God can give you the big lesson and you'll leave it and he'll protect you. Why? Because there's something that you need to do. Or if you subscribe to it, say, hey God, I want to do something good with my life. Okay, cool. I got some people that you can help. And you know how people pray. They pray to God, and then God comes to you with the message. Be that angel for them in their life. So as you get activated, people get healed. And as they get healed, they can get activated and more people get healed. It's our job to spread love. So that's what we need to be doing, right? So that's what's in your mind. As regards to who, which brings up the energies, the fire, air, water, and earth of the situation, of the domains in your mind, right? It has to do with gratitude. So let's get that real quick. So for who is gratitude? So this is in a world of emanation, where your imagination is basically like, there's thinking, there's deliberation, imagination, and creation. 3 different functions in your brain that you have to decipher which one is which. You have to use which one for which one it is. Because if you mismatch them, you'll think that your deliberation is your spirit talking to you. No, it's not. Your deliberation is trying to comprehend what spirit is. But you have, as you learn yourself, you experience what spirit says to you. You learn what it means. So you deliberate, you imagine, and then you create. 3 different functions. A deep honoring is present. Give and feel great thanks now for whatever blessings have arrived or are en route to you now. Drawing this card invites you to share your devotion or outwardly express gratitude to someone or something for its presence in your life. The no one or the nothing, that's God, right? The one that's working in the background. Show some gratitude. You see how you're blessed, so show some gratitude. Meditate or create a gratitude list for all the things that you're thankful for in your life. So it's important to write things down, because when you write it down, you remember it. You write it down 9 times, it becomes more of you. You write it down another 9 times, you'll never forget it, that kind of thing. So never forget your blessings. Count your blessings. Next up in your spirit is the world of creation, right? You have spiritual cleansing. It's time for a spiritual cleansing of the body, mind, or spaces which you reside. There's an imbalance, stuck energy, or heaviness in your environment that needs to be released before you proceed further. Now, God blessed me with a friend that really got me to understand what dark matter is. I always viewed it as just negative energy, but there are different types of negative energy. You ever had a feeling in your stomach where you just want to kind of scream, and that's the only thing that can get rid of it? It's a highly energetic negative energy that only thing you can do is scream or do something, right? Usually some people have they know how to get rid of this energy, just breathing and things like that. But for people who didn't know about it and didn't have to get used to it, learn about it, right? There's a different process. So yeah, spiritual cleansing has to do with getting rid of that energy. Now, that's all positive ions, because this is in your mind and this is in a place where you decide to do things, right? So this place is heated up. What you can do to not get rid of it, to balance this energy or to tame this energy, is more grounding. Because what grounding will do, that's inflammation in the mind, but it's from triggering. In your mental mind, that's inflammation. So what counters that is grounding. Grounding counters hot things. So when your mind is burning up, the energy will go into what you manifest instead. Therefore, you're being more grounded. So you ever understand that when God puts you through a certain amount of pain, there's some ground that you need to basically plant and, till the field. There's something that you need to build, because you need enough energy for it. And people bring you into the darkness, all the way into the depths of potential, right? And then you realize the potential that you're in, because everything at this point is kind of taken from you. You have nothing, nowhere, nobody. So what do? Rely on God, and then realize that God is everything in the world, and everything will be offered to you. It's coming. Everything is coming towards you. You got the 10 of Pentacles here to prove it. So, yeah. Shift in the place of the world of formation. Now, this is in the mind. That was where. This is when. Miracles, divine intervention, the end of stagnation, and divine inspiration are here now. Drawing this card signifies an aha moment or a sudden change in any situation that was stuck or blocked. A welcome change or answer you have been seeking is here now. Meditate on this symbol when you are feeling stuck or unsure of which way to go, or having a block of creativity. Now, writer's block and all of that stuff is a detachment from your spirit, and a detachment for the side that creates. So you are in your ego. I want it to be a certain way, but it's destined to be a certain way. Because what you do is going to be in this world longer than you're alive. Potentially, if it's a good thing, right? You're trying to make an impact in the world, right? You're trying to be like, Martin Luther King. He leaves an impact, and we fight still to this day because of what he, talked about. There are many people that have been through things that are not here anymore, and we still take up their flag and go with it. But that's all an inspiration. What are your inspirations that can cause a shift? What are the things that get you up out of the bed? What are you truly after? These answers are coming to you. That's what this is talking about. And it will cause a shift. And that's when you recognize it, when you acknowledge that there needs to be a shift, when you acknowledge that there are things that are off. It's about the acknowledgement. Because as you acknowledge it, you're deciding to look at a part of yourself. And imagine that you have a you on the other side of you, in the dark side, that finally gets the chance to be seen. When you acknowledge, that is literally seeing yourself. You're seeing it, and it's not an easy thing to do. A lot of the time, but you can get better at it. You can live through it. You can live with it. And as you start to love yourself, as people pointed out, you'll be like, okay, and so start to love yourself. So when they point out things about yourself, you'll just be honored. Oh, you see it too? Okay. Thank you for the confirmation. I didn't know. Next up is what? And it's about protection. You need protection from something. But this is to know that you are protected from something. You are protected. You are safe in all matters of the body, mind, and spirit. Your highest guidance has you covered on all fronts. Do not delay in moving forward. That's what it is. If inquiring about a relationship situation or how to proceed, please take this as a sign that you are taken care of and harm to none will be had. Meditate on this symbol when you feel like you need to strengthen your energy. Now, this is the strength card on this line right here. And as you gain strength within your mind, because this is the mind, right? You can hold manifestational energy. Then your manifestations you can maintain. So the more strength you have, the more manifestations you can maintain. How do you build strength? You have to find out what you desire and build things that will actually keep what that means is build. You formulate in your mind plans, structure, ways that you can go about maintaining, and then it matches what you desire and how you can maintain matches, and then those things form a union, and you go do it. You live through it. You become it. You experience it. All right. So the next part of the reading is going to happen really soon, but basically every card that you see off, I'm going to clarify. So those are the energetic points that are off within your chakras. So let me go down to it. At your throat chakra, which starts off the reading, it's off. So how you basically, your sense of touch is off, right? Touch is different when it comes up to the mind because it's not physical. Touch is anything that you interact with and interacts with you. That's the touch of your mind because nothing is actually touching. We are made of light. So we're basically vibing or shining all over the place. Next up was what you need. So what you know is out of whack. What you need is out of whack. There's a difference between want and need. What you want has to do with your consciousness. What you need has to do with your spirit. So you're not spiritually getting what you need, right? Next up that was off was the heart space. So as I said before, this judgment swayed basically what you find beautiful. So the things that you found beautiful before, you don't find as beautiful. So your scope of vision of what beauty is in this world and the things that are worth to live for is kind of skewed because of all the judgment that's been coming towards you. But when you have nothing, that nothing is going to judge you. God is going to judge and say, you are still here. Well done. Heaven is in the mind. Heaven and hell is in the mind. So, well done, my good and faithful servant, can happen while you're still alive. It's owed to us. We can go through the trials. So that's with your heart space, and that's I love. I do is also off. And this is basically what you're doing, your patterns, your habits, your thoughts, your actions, and the pieces of you, your persona, right? Who you have become. Or the things that you are doing that changes who you are in the long run. Next up was your feelings. So there's emotions, there's desires, and then there's feelings. 3 different things, right? So that means basically your feelings are off. You don't feel what's happening. Either that can be a lack of feeling. Okay. I was supposed to say this before. But basically, I'm grateful, so grateful that I've reached 1,000 subscribers. And I did not know that was going to happen. It took me such a long time to get there. But I started to find my groove. And the fact that feeling grateful came up and I forgot it. I really wanted to thank everybody because the little comments that you write, perfect timing, always. Every time you say something that interests me and it takes me out of whatever I was doing before, and God allows me to recognize that I am doing something that's sparking some kind of change. There's a perspective that somebody has now that they can take with them. I'm all about perspective. And God said, okay, show them. So here I am. And I'm grateful to be here. Thank you for you being here. I appreciate you wholeheartedly. And let's continue. So, without further ado, I'm going to get these cards down right about now. So, basically, we got a good amount of things to talk about, but let's start off with what you know. So, I know what your experience was is misleading you and kind of blocking what your aspirations are. Kind of misleading you what your aspirations are. So, let's just say if you have a group of people saying, no, you should do this. No, you should do this. No, not that. That seems off. You should do this. Your spirit is completely different from everything else in this world. Everybody's spirit is completely different from everybody else. You have a universal tag and nobody else has that tag. So anybody who says that you can't doesn't understand you. They have to understand your why. And the why is outside of everything. And you have courage with this. So because you have courage, you can get out of that situation. And how you're going to do it? It starts off with judgment. So judgment went from the heart to what you know, right? So what you love, you decided to judge. Not what you love, you just decide to judge. But you're judging what you know now instead of what you love. That's different because there's a process to that, and you're not jumping to conclusions. You're discerning more. You're feeling out the situation more. And then it went from there to the Six of Pentacles again. It came out again. I didn't even realize that. So it went from what you need went to what you know. So it's almost like it's being flushed into what you know. You're looking over everything and it's up for everything. Everything that you've been programmed to know and to love is being looked at again. And that's perfect because, as I said before, perspective is everything. If you move different, you see different, the devil cannot play with you. He gotta battle you. And that's where you get to new levels, new devils, right? So it's a process, but you're good for it. And God knows that. And then it ended off with the Temperance card, with made it on suit. Temperance is a fire card. So fire can be up here. Let's get this real quick. So, middle path, patience, and finding meaning. Now, the middle path has to do with that silver lining. And that silver lining comes from your true expression. Your true expression will eventually lead you to that road, that narrow road, where you're divinely aligned. And as you get used to it, it becomes this big old road that you can't even find the end of to fall off on, because you're so protected. Once you get to that narrow road, it becomes this big highway that you can barely even try to fall off on. You got so much space to move because you learn the protection. You learn how protected that you are. You learn it. It's a process. So it's going to take time. Or belief. Or faith, as I said. And nothing, nowhere, nobody. God. But yeah. It went from there to what you need. Right? As I said, the Six of Pentacles went up here. The Judgment went from there to there. So let's see. It went from there to the World. And that's fulfillment, harmony, and completion. Who are you to say that your job is done? Who are you to say that what you've done is the end-all be-all? You are a whole being, and you have time on this earth. Time is the biggest currency. So the fact that you can breathe, God has a job for you to do. There's a blessing that you can give somebody. There's something that you can do to show love in this world. For as long as that ticker keeps ticking, there is something you can do. But the world, right? Hold on. In the end of it all, I said something about that ticker, right? Now, this is evaporation and not raining. So a heartfelt moment left you to be more passionate. Let's see. So it says heartbreak, suffering, and grief. This is the area of grief, and this is the area that didn't even complete. So I actually put an extra card in here just to make sure it didn't complete. So there's a lot of energy over here in your heart space. So I said it wrong. That was upright. Reversed is recovery, forgiveness, and moving on. So it's about the fact that you're getting over the heartbreak. You know, revenge can't happen the second time as impactful as it was the first time. So if somebody decided to get revenge on you for the second time, you notice that in yourself that they're gonna start looking foolish. Why? Because being the vampire that they are, they need that energy that comes out of you, that leaks because you're in pain. Being the vampire that they are, the energies siphon that they are, right? They wanted to put you through that misery and that torture again to extract that energy, as I said before, so they can move on. And I don't know, like they cannot get that energy themselves, so they must harvest it. And you decided to moving on from that phase, that it won't have the same effect. And then noticing that, because third time's a charm, as they say. Oh, I survived the revenge, the vengeful act. I survived it for the third time. Oh, this is not actually going to kill me as I thought it was. Oh, I can actually move on from this. Matter of fact, since I say that, there's somebody over here. Matter of fact, I got $500 in this bank account over here. I forgot about that. I was thinking about her too much. Matter of fact, all of the opportunities and the things that you've been neglecting are coming back to you. And it's not that you've been neglecting something bad. You've been neglecting something that was there for you. But as you hold it back, and when it's time for you to let it go, let that floodgate come, it's crazy because all the blessings start coming to you. Like, well done, my good and faithful servant. Like that kind of energy. That's where that justice is right here, right? So moving on from there, it went from there to the heart space. It started off with judgment, And this is I love, right? It went from there to the King of Pentacles. And this is abundance, prosperity, and generosity. So it went from being other people judging you, and you're going after what they say you should do, and you wind up being stagnant, and it's not much to do. His eyes are closed. It's nothing to love. I've seen it all. I don't know what else is for me. Let me go within. Let me see what's on the inside of that manifestation. Let me see. So it went from there to the Page of Pentacles. I'm going to get out of my seat and figure out what this was for in the first place, because this manipulated me into going this wrong route. Even though there's less energy that's stopping me now, I still can't move on because I don't want to, because I want to figure this out. Lessons are repeated until they are learned, so I don't want to go through the cycle again. Let me figure it out here, now, and once and for all. It will never affect me again. And it went from there to the Queen of Wands. This is fire. It supports it because fire supports air, but it's still not on suit, right? So I could have ended off with here, and this is why I picked another card to try to make sure. But the Queen of Wands. This is courage, determination, and joy. Now, this is basically drugs, right? A vice. Your vices have been turned up so you can pump more joy and oxytocin into your life as much as you can to try to combat the negativity. we are all human, right? We're all human, so we're allowed to do anything we want to try to fix the situation. But according to your protection and your karma and what you do on the daily, you probably won't even need to do that. When you are feeling lonely, somebody would just be there on your phone. Like all of a sudden, like that little conversation would have got you through the whole night. When you needed money, next thing you know, your coworker brought you something for lunch, or there was pizza day and you ain't need to buy lunch. Now you get to save that for dinner. You never know. The little things happen and they add up. The blessing, you could have won $1 million within 3 years out of coincidences, and you don't know it. You understand that? Your blessings come abundant, but sometimes we need to see proof, and that's the thing. God cannot show proof because God works in the background. We cannot consciously see God, so we're looking for God to say, push that thing out the way and put $1 million in your face. That's what we're looking for. But it's egoic. How can you expect that? We are delusional if you expect that. I expect God to work through coincidences and luck and chance and things like that, because that is the hand of God. And went from there to the Three of Cups. So basically, it started off with a water energy in Judgment and ended off with another water energy with the Three of Cups. So it didn't complete. It ended up emotional, but this is more a balanced emotion within. Okay, so parallel of water is air, so that means it takes its place. It's almost like a storm, right? But you have your village, your group, your people, your covering, your family, your soul family. Your soul family is there to go with you through this again. Not again. Well, if I said again, then maybe you didn't learn the lesson. So you don't have to go through it again. Just study. Figure out what happened. Figure out the whys. And went from there, well, the next up was the solar plexus. It started off with the moon, and then it ended off with the Knight of Wands. So let's get the Knight of Wands. Action, adventure, and fearlessness. This is the perfect energy to have here, because you see he's ready for all of it. He's not playing. Whatever that needs to be done, he's going to do it. He's not playing with this deception anymore. The moon, the crying, the oh it's this way, oh it's that way. The moon energy to me right now is representing the black and the white. And this is in full, I want to almost say luminescence, right? So the star within you is being fully illuminated right now. And that means that the energy that you have to see yourself is like you don't have to work too hard. It's almost like all of that judgment worked as a benefit towards you, because you had trouble seeing yourself, but your enemy didn't. Your enemy was telling you about yourself up, down, left, and right, and you ain't even want to accept it, and then one day you said, oh, this is me. That's okay. You're just talking about who I am. That's just fine. God made me, and you're just going to have to deal with that. Or not. That's fine. And you can do what you want. Alright? So that's the confidence. Oh, God made me what you don't like. So you got to take that up with God. If it wasn't something I did, God made you not like that. So sometimes just put in people's presence so they can understand things, and vice versa. When it's vice versa, struggling. But next up has to do with the emotion, feelings, what I feel, right? It started off with the Page of Wands. This is energy. You have the Ace of Wands here, the Knight of Wands here, and the Page of Wands here. So, a lot of new beginning energy. Your soul is only powering up. You are only getting up today, tomorrow, and the next day to get over the issue. You are not playing any games, right? But that went into your feelings and your emotions. Even though you're not playing games with your conscious world, you are not entertaining your spirit either. So what happens with that? It went to the Seven of Cups, and that completed that energy. Every time I say it completed, it means that there's a line that goes from your crown to your root on a tree of life. And when I say complete, the energy moves to the next dot, then to the next dot, to the next dot, next, down to the root. And when that happens, you can use it freely without any blockages, right? So we're at the sacral chakra right now, and the root chakra is fine. So that's the last piece. So Seven of Cups, searching for purpose, choices, and daydreaming. Now, when was the last time you had choices? God is about to give you so many choices that you're gonna like sit down and not know what to do. I don't know what to do with any of this blessing. That's how blessed you're gonna be. You're gonna need a week to figure it out. You're gonna need some time to even figure out how, on the scale of what you was blessed, you cannot even fathom it. You have to sit down, smoke one or something. I don't know. You're gonna have it's mind blowing blessings that are on the way right now. Mind blowing, and you can choose which one. And if you focus in on it, all of that energy goes to that one blessing. So you can be careful with that, or you can be smart with it. So God is looking for what you want. Trying to bless you with the best thing that you can maintain, and that's the key word: maintain. You're only gonna be blessed with what you can maintain. Alright, so the next part of the reading is the last part of the reading, and it's going to be the star stream. I wasn't saying it before, but I know I'll probably put it on the screen. Right? The star stream involves basically evolution. Right? It involves the evolution. The card came out and it was scared me. And it was the full moon. So you got the moon right here, and then the full moon came out. And crazy. This is the 8-8 portal right now for me today. Because it's probably going to come out another day, right? Today for me is the 8-8 portal. And then the moon came out. I have not seen the moon for weeks. I love the moon. I am literally a triple moon. Right? Where's the moon? That's just a question from me to the world. Where is the moon? I haven't seen it. I asked my coworker. He said he's seen it, and I don't believe it. I have not seen it. I don't believe it. Good fortune. So, the star stream has to do with experimentation, expression, integration, transcendence, and then ascendance. This, I'm going to explain it like this. You experiment with what you manifest, right? Then you express your feelings and find out what your true self wants. You integrate what you found out about your true self into your conscious mind and fulfill that role as best as you can, right? Try to fill it out, the situation, the role, the hat that universe wants you to put on, right? And you're doing that with the Knight of Wands. But that's integration. Integrating it into your life has to do with your patterns. First you think it, then you speak it, then you do it, then it becomes a habit, then it becomes a part of you, right? So that's the scale of the patterns, right? And next up is transcendence, which is, I like to use Pokemon because it's easy. If you have a Pidgey, you get it to level 15, that's cool. Level 16, he gonna evolve and become new. So you can level up and then you evolve right here. So let's get it. Let's keep getting these cards down. Guides. I don't think I ever read Courage. That's crazy. I'm gonna read Courage first. I've been talking about it the whole time though. But you understand what Courage is. Talisman. Too many. Okay. Water. Tila. So like I said, let me start off with Courage because I forgot it. I know somebody was probably like, he forgot Courage. He's not gonna do it. He gonna forget. I got it. You are being invited to summon your courage and take the next right action. Drawing this card can be nudging to you to let go of any fears that you are having and boldly move ahead. This is your moment to seize the day. Carpe diem, live your dreams, and step forward with confidence. You can meditate on this symbol and mantra whenever you need a boost of encouragement. Encouragement is basically a potential that's being, well, a potential. The more potential you have, just imagine it, right? The bigger the balloon is, eventually it's going to bust, right? The more potential you have, eventually it's going to go to the other side and become something you can use. It's just going to go to the other side. You can't maintain the potential anymore. You gotta use it. It's like good anxious. The good anxiousness. Alright, so for experimentation, right? We have the full moon. Let's get it. So you can understand the cycles of the moon, 27, 20, 28, right? A ceremony, culmination of completion of cycle in time. Their magic is here. The full moon has power to magnify your dreams. It can also take away anything not in alignment with them. Be open to magic and the wonders of all things. See, it can also take away anything that's not in alignment with your dreams. So your fantasies that you choose would eventually be pushed out by your spiritual dream. So it's a correction in the right way, even though it seems like it's being taken away from you. So it's hard to understand, and I understand why it's painful. But to hear it, hopefully I've been giving you a little bit of justice to the situation. That's why you're going through it. Be open to the magic and the wonders of all things. Meditate or perform a ritual on the full moon to draw more of her powerful, feminine, receptive energy into your life, projects, and rituals. I know I mentioned writer's block with shift. So the moon right now, go look at it if it's there. So next up is good fortune in the place of expression. Now, fortunate, that's gratitude, right? No matter what your query, that's a question. The universe gives you its blessing. This is also a powerful time for manifesting. So ask now for what you want more of in your life. It is granted. Acknowledge the blessings in your life and more will appear. Now, the matrix likes to give and take. The universe likes to give and take, right? You can give something to somebody that's free, but it sparks something in them to bring a good energy in this world. So what I mean by that, you can hold the door for somebody and they really needed that and they liked it, right? Now they're emanating out of their soul. It could have been a negative energy. Now for a short time, there can be emanating a good energy because of what you did. And God really likes that and admires it and adores it. So the little things that you do for people in this world changes the energy for a higher vibration. We are trying to level up. So do the little things. It's not just the big things. The little things count too. Right? So that's good fortune. And be grateful for them. Count your blessings. I mentioned it before. You are fortunate. So, next up is integration. And this is guides. Your spirit guides and ancestors are calling to you now. They surround you with their love and protection. It's crazy because protection is here, right? And also offer you their wisdom. Allow these helping spirits into your world today. You are not alone. Meditate on this when you need assistance from your spiritual team. And this is the sky and not water. So even though it looks like water and waves to me, water and air are parallels. And this is why they have the same, kind of shapes to it. See, I believe that you can have a conscious spiritual team, and you also have a spiritual team that you came here with. So your spiritual team would say, okay, this part of my team is best fitted with this friend that you have. So I'm going to make sure that this friend is around you when I need to speak to you. So your spirit can use other people too to speak to you. Because, they see you. You can't see yourself. They can see yourself. They judge what they see. And this is why it's so important to have a partner that will see who you are and not scar it. Because you can't see that. You can't see yourself. The mirror does not allow you to see yourself. That's a reflection of the outside appearance. It is not yourself. Yourself is within. The closest you can get to it is closing your eyes and imagining. That's the closest you can get to is seeing it, right? Unless you have dreams and you might see your spiritual team like with animals and all these other, beings and things like that. But yeah, that's what you can integrate into your life. Talisman has to do with keys. And there wasn't many swords that came out in this reading, but all swords, in my opinion, are keys, mental keys, because this is all mind. So, keys unlocks doors, and all chakras are doors. As you open them, more energy comes out. Whoever has access can get it, and that involves the negative entities too, right? So, talisman. The talisman represents new doors opening for you now. New pathways are present at this time. It also invites you to find or create and charge an appropriate symbol, amulet, or mantra to help you support your current endeavors or healing. Empower this talisman within your intention to evoke its magic in your everyday life. That evolve word came up in my mind just now. Meditate with this card to act as a powerful road opener. And I said that. That silver lining is the road, but once you actually get there and understand your protection, it's not a balance beam. It's a 20-foot highway. It's a 60-foot, 80-foot, 1,000-foot highway. There's no falling off of that, right? Meditate with this card to act as a powerful road opener to open to a new adventure or opportunities to discover hidden talismans of power, love, and peace. All right. A talisman, you can have lucky socks. You can have lucky this, lucky that. Something that you wear, your favorite shirt. Those are talismans. You put energy on something, it becomes a talisman. You have a car, it becomes a talisman. You think cars get you girls, that's a talisman. You literally bring this out to help you achieve something. That's a talisman. So whatever you use to help you achieve something, that's what they're talking about right now. And you're supposed to transcend it. You're supposed to not need it, but use it. If you even need it. You know what I mean? So you have to be the one to discern what's needed and what's not. I can't decide that for you. So next up, and the last card of the reading, is water. And this is in a place of I ascend. So as you start with I know, you went through the process, you united your soul with your mind, body, and spirit, and now you ascend with water. And this is 18. So, emotions, receptivity, and a connection to bodies of water. Drawing this card is a symbol of connecting to your emotions regarding your question or situation. Allow yourself to be open to any changes of direction and let the element of water guide you in the right direction. Meditate with this symbol by a body of water in a bath with a vessel of water to help keep the emotions pure and to assist you in being more flexible. I think water is a conduit for spirit. So it's almost like, you know how you have electrical wire, and when you link one side to the other side, you have a current? I think that's what water is for spirit. Not just, it's like an apparatus for spirit to use. So as you get the pureness, the pure water inside you, the H3O2, actually, but, you know, because 3 is magic, not 2. 2 is duality. I'm going to just say that. But, yeah. As you basically allow yourself to be open to any changes of direction. So you allow spirit by emptying your mind and allowing spirit to tell you what to do. So which one do you think the master is? You or your spirit or your soul or your body? Which one of these places do you think holds the master? So in my board, I have an extra card in Tarot called the Master card. And I know that it's in the world of emanation. It's over here, right next to the tower. The Master goes up to the tower, operates the tower, looks out of the tower, sees everything that can and will happen, and decides from there. So, Master. Mastering any situation. You are the Master. You are the one in control. Which one do you think is the Master? So if your soul is the master, right? Your soul, your pineal gland, right? Let's just say the pineal gland is the master and your body is the servant, right? Your body is the apparatus, the temple. It doesn't do anything. Your consciousness moves it. My consciousness moves my arms. My spirit powers my consciousness to move my arms, right? So which one is in control? Which one is the master? Our conscious mind is not the master. We're the ego. So we have to submit to the master within ourselves, which is our true selves, guided by our soul, who wanted to come here in the first place to experience a certain kind of life here. So that's what that's all about. Alright, so with all that said and done, I appreciate you heavy. As I said before, thank you again for helping me get to 1,000 subscribers. It's really mind-blowing because the devil tried to take my joy. I really had to take 2 days just to find it again. Tried to steal it. And I came here, I said, you know what? No. Anytime the devil tried to steal from me, God gives me a message. And that message replenishes everything for me. Because like I said, we up to 1,000 now. And every comment brings me to 1,000. Not 100, 1,000. Sometimes it's more than that. And I have the energy to continue. I would like to be somebody that people can count on in this community. I'm creating a place, basically, where we can all come together and congregate and fight this war together. We don't see them. We don't see the enemies. But in my app, you will. So if you like the reading, if you like the message, if you like the app, if you like the content, like, share it, and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you. And with all that said and done, I'm KyFy. Peace.